Right. So I suppose in three, two, one. Welcome everyone to CBCTV, the weekly TV show where we talk about all the TV news, and not necessarily this week because I there's a lot of Endgame stuff, so it's all going to be 90% related to that. If you haven't seen Endgame, maybe go watch that and come back to this because always. As always, I'm Mitch. You can find Mitch692, and I'm joined once again by Sean.
Hey, you can look for me on Twitter on The Real Sean.
There you go. You can also follow the channel by Googling this Comic Podcast. You'll find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, pretty much wherever you want to listen to stuff. So, hey. Yeah, to get right into everything, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6 has its trailer dropped out. I haven't actually watched all of it, and that's purpose, because I don't want to watch the entire... I kind of want to go in blind as much as I can for this season. But it's a very different type of season by the looks of things, because Coulson's clearly not Coulson. He's clearly some kind of alien, and a big mystery around that, which
Quotation marks.
I have no idea what's going on.
Or he could be a life model decoy. Who knows?
He could be. But it's definitely looking a bit more space focused. I assume a lot of it's gonna be a bit cleared up from Far From Home, because they're doing something, I assume, that relates to the show, or there's something set up in Far From Home that kind of helps
like set up,
like kind of more in the name.
Yeah. This is the one thing I
give much away.
No. This is the one show I'm not really all too much familiar with, and I mean I know a couple people on the show, but as far as I know, it's going to deal with Endgame at some point in the show. And I haven't heard anything directly from them about anything with Far From Home, but I mean, it makes sense if it did.
So to be fair, that's just me. That's just a pure assumption for me, because I know there's something in Far From Home that does relate to the show. Yeah. It might not be a direct connection, but there's something in Far From Home that might help explain where the status quo of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Nick Fury and Maria Hill is in the movie. Is she wearing a suit in that, or is she wearing regular clothes? I forgot
Maria Hill.
Yeah, Maria Hill.
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen the trailer for a while. So
yeah, I'm trying to think though. Is if I remember, because it has been a long time for me too, and if I seen her wear a specific color suit or anything on her.
Can we just get the S.H.I.E.L.D. uniforms, the actual proper
ones? Yeah, I want some white trim.
Seeing Nick Fury in that would be perfect. Samuel L. Jackson's onesie with white stripes.
I mean, it would bring it all around. That would just definitely distinguish him from the older S.H.I.E.L.D. too. I mean, yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, just an off-white color, not the straight white. I think.
It'd be a bit too jarring, especially if you go for a darker blue.
Yeah,
make it sort of a greyish color. Kind of like how Cap's suit is.
Oh yeah.
Where it's not a bright white, but it's just that toned down,
like an egg white or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Or even just make it straight grey. No.
I'm pretty sure, and I think that season 6 might be, I don't know, the last season for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm not sure. Clark Gregg, I can call him Coulson then. Clark Gregg has said this is the last one, but Jeff Loeb at one of the cons where they showed the first episode for this went, it's not the last one. So,
well, I mean, do you think that they might rebrand the show?
I mean, they could. You could quite easily just call it Sword. They're being more in space now. Sword's a perfect thing for them.
Or just Shield. Or something.
Yeah, you could just call it Shield. Yeah.
That'd be kind of weird, but
I think from the people that they showed the first episode of one of the cons, I think they're saying this takes place a year after Endgame.
Yeah, I think I heard that too.
So like you might get some connections with Endgame, you might not.
Yeah.
I don't really
Well,
know how much they're going to go into it. But
I mean, you're gonna get some correlation with it. Like in
yeah,
every season, there's always some type of, I don't know, hint to, like whatever the previous like big movie that was there. And I think with this being Endgame being like the grand finale of this era, I think they have to have something substantial in the show to you know at least kind of like say, hey, it's connected, but just confirm, because once it hits like D plus or whatever, once all this stuff goes into D plus, it's gonna be connected because they're gonna have access to all this other stuff.
yeah, they're not like restricted to other people's, like, even though it's like ABC is Disney, like they're not restricted to like different like production schedules.
Yeah, and and also with like the ABC thing is like, these are different people. I mean, this is different boards of directors. I mean, I mean, untimely, you have to do whatever, like, but they can make it very difficult for you if they don't want that show on.
Yeah.
Like they almost like act as separate entities, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and which you can kind of like, you can't really dispute that because the whole Disney saving it thing, going like, no, like this show stays around.
Yeah.
Like you do not cancel this show, you give it another season, and then it's like, oh, we've got another season, just to kind of like tide you over until their streaming services are done. Which it's fine with me. I'm cool with that. Like, as long as people can get what they want eventually, like I'm fine with the wait. As long as the show stays good as well, so it doesn't like lose its relevancy. Like it's fine. It's cool.
I mean, and to go back to what like Clark Gregg said, do you think he might have like maybe been misquoted or something like that, or maybe he just misspoke, that he just said like maybe he meant that
I can imagine like he misspoke and he meant it was his last season, because it's you can't do like repeat of war. You can't just keep bringing back the actor in a different way. It's like Coulson's dead. You can do one more thing. Like I don't know where they're gonna go with this Coulson twist in the slightest, but let's not just draw the actor out. He's gone. Do one more thing with him. Let it rest. Sure, it'll kind of suck that Coulson never got to see the original 6 Avengers again, and all that stuff. But...
I mean, you can't. I mean, stuff like that. You really can't. You can't satisfy everything.
No, but it's just it's a bit like if it was ever going to happen, like Endgame would have been the moment, and especially when you're wrapping up all the story arcs. Like that's one thing. If I had to change something about that movie, I would have changed.
Do you think that maybe on the B-reels that there was some type of I don't know,
I'm not sure, because Coulson dies in S.H.I.E.L.D. Spoilers for season 5, you didn't see it. It's heavily implied that he dies in Tahiti with May. So it wasn't kind of possible, which is a bit unfortunate, but at the same time,
I think at this point, because Clark Gregg's been here since day one.
Yeah,
he's been here since day one.
And that's another reason why I've done it. He was one of the originals. A lot of this stuff we kind of owe to Clark Gregg as well. This random little character they made up for the movies.
And I think at this point he probably wants to do other things, and he doesn't do a lot of things with the movies, but I mean, the TV show is how many seasons is it? 5? 6.
This is 6, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's 6 years of your life, and those shoots for the TV shows go on for half a year almost, depending on what their shooting schedules are. I mean, that's a long time, and especially if you want to do other things, you have to base your schedule around that. You probably just, probably said, "Hey, I'm out, man. I did my time."
Which. It'll be weird to see a S.H.I.E.L.D. show without Coulson at this point. It's kind of like the show is his, but again at the same time it's kind of evolved to be more Daisies and Fitz's. But
well, I think at this point it kind of has to, if it wants to stay fresh, because I think Coulson's a safety net for the show.
It's definitely, yeah.
It's if he's here, everybody's watching it, but if you want to see if the show can truly, survive on its own merits, I think you should just take him off the board and see if this, because they've built up Daisy as a great character. I mean, at this point, I think she's strong enough to carry yeah, the show.
Oh, definitely. Like if you go back and look at like God, what's her name? Chloe Bennett's like her first episode on this show. She's a complete like her acting. Like it wasn't bad then. It was very much like a product of its time and what the character was, and like it was fine then. But it's evolved so much. Like not only has she gotten better, like the character's just like changed completely.
Well, I mean, I think she her like she's relatively new to acting.
I think Shield was her first thing.
Yeah. So I mean, if you could see the evolution of her character and her acting throughout the 6 seasons. So I mean, I think it's like, I mean, as much as I love Clark Gregg and I love the character, I think they need to just, it's like you got to take something familiar off to, you want to go out on your own terms rather than get stale. I mean, look definitely. At like the X-Files, man. I mean, like if it would have ended at season 5, I think it would have been great. Like it just went on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And just get tired of seeing the characters.
But I'm just to backtrack slightly on me saying about like Clark Gregg and Coulson in Endgame. Like I think that maybe the ultimate payoff for like Coulson's storyline would be to have Daisy meet them and kind of be like, I was the product of Coulson after you guys. Like he got me. Like you guys got there because of him. Like I got here because of him as well. Like,
that and I think it would have been a very great homage if he was at Tony's funeral. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I didn't even
think that
think of that, man.
Like, because he was in Iron Man 1, and he basically was even before Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, they had that. They did have a relationship, like.
Yeah,
man, I didn't even know. Wow. I'm kind of upset he wasn't in there. Not like really upset, but it's just like.
No, it's like it is kind of a missed opportunity because
especially when you have Harley Keener in there, like people. Like I understand why he was there. He was important to Tony in some way or form, but.
Yeah, I mean, but like also even he didn't necessarily need to be in the crowd. He could have been just off in the distance somewhere. You could just see him.
Like to be thinking about it a bit more, he was dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but like he could have been off in the distance and like those like those scenes where like the character's dead but they're still alive but like they want to attend something like that. That could have been there.
Yeah, I suppose actually like they could have said the ending where he dies is like after Endgame and before season 6 starts, so you could have worked it in there somewhere, but.
And I think even if he was at the funeral, there's only like a couple characters from the original Avengers that actually knew who Coulson was, even there, because it was like it was.
I mean, all the original like Cap, Hulk, Thor,
but Widow wasn't.
The 3 that survived.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoiler. Like we did warn you.
Yeah.
We did warn you. But in like Hawkeye was there and stuff like that.
Yeah, Hawkeye. Yeah.
I think
like Widow and Hawkeye were known because they were Shield agents before.
Yeah, and I think it would have been nice to see. I don't know, maybe the interaction with the newer characters, with like, who are you? Like, why are you here? Type situation. Like, I never seen you before. Who are you? And then it just explains it. I don't know. It just would have been. That would have been. I think
like if they were gonna do it, like just having him walk on with Fury.
Yeah.
Like would have been like, because Fury's bit there was enough for me. Like it started with him and it ends with him.
But I think it really started with Coulson there. I mean, like Fury.
Definitely.
You didn't see Fury until the end, but he was there.
Yeah.
But then, like, I think eventually, they used Fury as more of a father figure to Tony than I think Coulson was just like an acquaintance at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
But it would have been nice.
There's a lot of interesting stuff coming with Shield down the line.
Yeah.
I imagine, and if we can get these crossovers, and once everything's all in at least 2 places, I imagine it's going to be spread between Hulu and Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean it's more manageable though. You're not dealing with like. I mean,
even if it's on Hulu, it's still Disney. I imagine it's going to be the same people making the shows, because why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, and you're also looking at Disney's going to be producing and financing the shows. So, Like they have pretty much all the say in who comes in, who goes. You can just negotiate your contracts or whatever, you know.
Yeah. So if it's like we have to delay this show if you want to do this, it's like we'll delay it. What's a month? Like we just put out, you know. We're not like binded by anyone else's like production schedule or release schedule. So
exactly. I mean, that was the biggest problems with the Netflix shows. Is like it was just like you're dealing with like Netflix wanted those shows out at a certain time, so they had to do this at a certain time. So while they were shooting over here in New York, they were shooting in Atlanta, and like it just never really, fit together.
It's like you just can't line it up. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, when they say logistics, it's correct. It's logistics. Yeah. It's just boring as that.
And it's not like he didn't try. Like the Roosters have said it before. Like they tried twice to get these people in here. No.
Yeah,
didn't they want Daredevil in Civil War or something? Wasn't that actually a thing?
Yeah, they did. I mean, like they really wanted, at the very least, they wanted Matt Murdock or Daredevil in that movie because. Yeah. But then, like they were filming season 3, and like you can't like the way they produce, like they put together these shows. They're filming at a rapid pace, so you're not like they don't have time, and he's pretty much in almost every scene of these shows. So it was hard to get Cox from here to here, and then have to be back at a certain time without delaying production. And it's expensive to film in New York. Period. You close down the street, and Williamsburg it costs like crazy amount of money.
Yeah. And I imagine when once all the dust settles for these Defender shows and they, Hulu's kind of like, yeah, we'll take them.
Yeah.
Cox isn't exactly going to be a hard get to come back.
Nah, I mean, he just hey, Cox is back. As much as I mean, he's a great actor and I love the guy, but like he just done Den of Kings, which does anybody know what that movie is? Like where that is?
I've never heard of that until just a second.
It just came out on Netflix and it never been in the movie theaters. So I think Cox's schedule would rearrange as long as it, and like he does love that character so much.
Plus, what would you rather do? Like, would you rather be in the biggest franchise in history right now, or would you rather do something else?
Yeah, I mean, if Robert Redford's going to come back and do a scene for 2 minutes in a movie
after he said he's retiring,
yeah, for the 18th time. But I mean, these movies are like the it thing now, and everybody I mean, Angelina Jolie, who would have thought in a Marvel movie?
So if she's Cersei and becomes an Avenger, who the hell would have thought that 10 years ago?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, not me.
No, I wouldn't even have put Angelina Jolie on their radar.
No, I mean, and she's still a big star, but I mean, who would have thought? It's crazy.
Even just looking at the cameos in Endgame, the amount of people in there that they got for a day is nuts.
Yeah,
you could not have got 10 years ago.
No, I mean, and some of these they're not even they're actually reshot scenes, and the only one that was reused was Natalie Portman. Everything else was fresh and new. They were on.
Was
set.
Natalie Portman's reused?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, I thought she actually come back.
I mean, as far as I know, it was unused footage from.
Well, I'll be damned.
I mean, I wasn't on that production, so I mean,
if it was wow, you would not have told a difference on that. Which I'd be surprised because she was at the premiere.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the bad blood between them is done, but that I don't know. To me, I've heard that enough, and then when the door closes, they hate each other.
So let's just put it this way: I wouldn't be surprised if she was back, or I wouldn't be surprised if it was reused footage. Either way, I wouldn't be too shocked.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, everybody's giving an arm and a leg to try to be in one of these movies now. So
it's just money. Why would you turn down all that?
I mean. Yeah. I mean,
unless you're one of the old fuddy daddies right now that are oh no, superhero movie, man.
Well, I mean, wasn't Robert Redford one of those people? I mean,
he was, yeah.
He was a pretty big naysayer, I think.
Yeah, it's political thriller, sure.
And I'm pretty sure eventually Steven Spielberg will come around to the
Spielberg flips what he thinks constantly. He craps all over Netflix, and then next thing it's oh yeah, Apple streaming service is the future. It's really, Spielberg?
Yeah. I mean, he's a genius, but like he also likes money too. So
yeah.
like,
It's like if you got like hit that point in a person's life where something sets in, like, is that where we're at? But
I mean, these old school filmmakers are kind of weird. Like they're set in their ways, but like you back a truckload of money and anybody changes their values. Really
yeah. And that's just evident with Apple. It's like, Apple's got all the money in the world, and now Spielberg has all the money.
And like, I think wasn't Spielberg even involved in like that DC Blackhawk thing for like, and that's a comic book.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that was before he said like, "Oh no, comic movies." It's like, really?
So like, I never really take anything people say at face value.
And not that Black Hawk movie's ever going to get made, because let's be honest, it's not.
Yeah, but it's just the fact that he's
still signed on to do it.
Yeah, he said what he said, and now he's like, these things aren't so bad after all.
Yeah.
As he's going through the thing.
Speaking of like the future stuff, because we were moving on to the next topic, we have Ghost Rider and Helstrom coming to Hulu for the Marvel shows. The long rumored and long talked about Ghost Rider show.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a bit of confusion, at least with Ghost Rider, because the trades that reported it are saying it's a reboot, and like,
yeah. Well, I think it's more of a soft reboot.
Yeah, like a Dark World to Ragnarok. I think it's probably might be the best way to put it. Like, which fair enough. The way they ended it with Shield, it allows you to do that. You can even make a twist of it if you want, but.
But I mean, like, if they really wanted to reboot the character, they wouldn't have gotten Gabrielle Luna back, because like, people associate the character.
Yeah, I think that like, people were going like, oh, but Variety said this, and it's like, yeah, but you wouldn't get the same actor back.
Well, I mean, like, Variety's like right a lot of the times, but like they also been wrong a couple of times too. So, like, as far as I know, it's a soft reboot. It's still going to acknowledge
so I can't imagine if, like, with them trying to now actively get everything more connected than it already is, like, why would you reboot it?
Yeah.
That completely negates one of your series, but
exactly. I mean, there's gonna be softer, like the aesthetics of the character might change a little bit.
I hope so. Give him the damn mask.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's make him not look like, yes, he's a Ghost Rider, but he's not a legitimate Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, exactly. He's a faux Ghost Rider.
Yeah, he's a faux Ghost Rider. He's a faux Rider. But just and it's easy to explain away. Like, just say his powers are changing, and like it's just forming over his face and everything. It's easily done.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an aesthetic change. I mean, I think towards the end of the series of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, his power bases were kind of changing a little bit anyways. So.
Yeah, he kind of somehow learned how to be Doctor Strange and just teleported away. It's like,
start doing slinging things.
But I love that effect. Like, let's get all the money worth you can from that, because it looks so cool.
Well, yeah, it's so much better than the lockjaw effect. That was like,
I didn't mind how like it stretched in and out. It wasn't the best thing ever, but it's kind of like it kind of works.
It does, but then it just, to me, when I saw it, and I think I've seen it in like a post-production video, like at one point. And I look at the guy and I was like, all right, they're gonna change this a little bit, right?
This isn't it, yeah.
It just looks like a Photoshop. I mean,
so it looks like someone's just got the smudge tool and gone.
Yeah. Or like they just use Element for a little bit, and they just start learning the process of like
the intern's got the app on the phone. It's
like,
there you go. Like, if it does a bit more money behind that effect, it could probably work.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like a completely terrible effect, but it just I mean, to me, for some reason, when I see Lockjaw, like the teleportation, I just thought of like an energy burst or something. I don't know, like, but it didn't never.
If it had a more Kirby Crackle, no, the humans needed more Kirby Crackle.
Yeah, well, I mean,
everything needs the Crackle.
Oh. No. Well, I don't think that was the only thing that show needed. So.
Oh no, but at least it might have been
helped
a bit better to look at. Not that Lockjaw was in it a lot, but
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
But
like the one, like, just speaking of like teleportation thing, the one thing I wish like could be changed is cloaks. I'm not a fan of how that works.
Yeah,
because it's just he disappears, and then when he comes back, there's the smoke, and it's kind of jarring. That I understand, going in and coming out, that's the thing they're going for, but it's just like.
Well, you know what I equate that is. I think he's starting to learn his powers.
Possibly, that's a very good point.
Or maybe it's just going to change within the seasons, like maybe he's going to get better at it and it just looks a little bit better. Yeah. That's how I looked at it. But it does. It does look.
It's just jarring that, he just disappeared 1 minute and the next minute he's covered in smoke. It's like, okay. No, where was the smoke before? It looks like they forgot it. To be like that, I was just like, okay, you kind of, no.
But I think it's gonna change the look of it in the next couple of seasons. When they
next couple, hey.
Yeah.
I need that show forever.
So what do you think of
the crossover with Spider-Man, please?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I definitely would love that. I wouldn't put too much money on that though. I mean. You never know though. I mean, look.
It's like if there's one thing they have to cross over, it's got to be the street level guy. And if you've got a street level guy in the movies, sure they're not in the same city, but with you have a teleporter, you're kind of irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of answers the question. Yeah. I think once she gets everything straightened out with the other characters, I think that might be in the cards or something like that, because most of the street level characters are already been done. I think, the more relevant ones anyways, but the mainstream ones. But
yeah.
But I think once they figure that out, I think once they figure out the status of those shows, whether they had to reboot it or they bring those back, I think once that happens, I think you'll see more of the crossover. Because I mean, I can tell you this: if they do come back, there's gonna be some changes for sure to not remind you of the Netflix era. So
yeah.
So once that's all sorted out, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. Those shows, I kind of
they're too big to leave on the table. Those lot.
Yeah, I think they could do it properly after once everybody's underneath the same umbrella. I think once that happens, I think everything can be done properly, and I think and better.
Well, I know she's massively deviated from Ghost Rider and Helstrom, but with the Netflix stuff, would they ever be able to get the seasons back, or would they forever be on Netflix?
See, yeah, that's one of the biggest problems right now. Is Netflix owns those. They own those. It's once they're in the can, they own it. That's one of the biggest hurdles right now. Is if the contract stuff, I think is pretty. I think it's pretty. It's doable, as far as I know. But I think they're having a big problem with. All right, we're gonna bring him back, but if you want to see the past episodes, you're gonna have to go to the competitor's network.
Yeah.
I don't think they want that at all. I think if they do bring those back, they're definitely gonna bring back, or at least buy those past episodes. That's I said, that's the biggest hurdle right now. Is
and that won't be cheap.
No. If this was a Yelp review, it would be at least $5 sign for sure. Because those Netflix guys, they want that money.
Yeah,
they want
a duck's ass.
And they're gonna make it it was just when. Remember when Sony wasn't playing ball or Fox wasn't playing ball with Marvel? That's exactly how Netflix is right now. They're just they're not budging, man.
No one wants Marvel to have money. Fair, why would you go to your competition?
Yeah, I think. I'll be honest with you. I think they're willing to let them go. Maybe at this point, I think they just want a lot of money for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of Netflix even say they don't see the value in shows that go past 30 episodes. But all right, if you don't think there's any value in them, get rid of them.
Yeah,
Sure, you're gonna get like residual views on everything in it, but
I think they're looking at that as why they're keeping them around. Is like they are popular, like especially the Daredevil seasons.
So wasn't Daredevil like the third most watched show?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and they say, I don't know, they want to keep all that good content. As much as like, but if the price is right, I'm sure they'd give it up.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you can help like make Netflix a profit, I'm sure they'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, the company's in the red. Yeah. It's in the red, and like it's not making very. I mean, the stock prices, make it look like it's making money, but it's not.
Yeah.
They're just treading water right now. They're just making.
And especially if they're bumping their prices up, like,
yeah.
Especially when Disney's coming in, lowballing everything, like,
I think that's gonna. I think again, that's gonna it's gonna change the playing field when D Plus drops. That even if it wasn't $6.99, I think I would pay $10 for it. But
the amount, like, there's a sheer amount of stuff on there, like it's still.
But like the cases that they're making it $6.99, like my wife said that she would drop Netflix in a minute. Like she watches Netflix.
Right now with like how Netflix is going, I'm debating it. Like they just canceled the Santa Clarita Diet. Like they left that show on a huge cliffhanger. It's like if you don't see things going past 30, why are you letting creators go past 30?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is like they're burning a lot of bridges when they do stuff.
Yeah,
like that. Creators do not want to work with people that don't want to like these people that create these shows. They don't want to make just 3 seasons and have a cliffhanger at the end of their season.
No, they want to keep going and just like have a stable job,
or at least finish their whatever
like tell the story they want to tell.
Yeah, I think it's burning a lot of bridges because like at some point people are gonna like, I don't want to. I mean, we might get a couple good seasons out of it, but after that, who knows? It's unstable over there at Netflix. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. Like, I used to watch. I watched all seasons of that show, and I thought it was great. And I wanted to see how they ended. Now I can't.
Yeah, it's kind of like what do they have now? Like,
yeah, I mean, Orange is the New Black is ending.
Is going. House of Cards is gone. Stranger Things is going after the 3rd season. Like, what do they have? Well, I saw they got that. Like, they're leaning and kind of like banking on the anime bit, and if they can crack that nut, fine, cool. But you have a niche market, but
that's a very, very, very slim market. I think the shows like House of Cards, Stranger Things, that's what made that network. Yeah. Even Daredevil to an extent. These are the shows that have made. Yeah, Lost in Space is not going to happen, man. So
I loved Lost in Space, but that's not going to go on forever.
Yeah, I loved it too, but like, I think creators are going to sit down and think like, am I going to be able to tell my story, or am I going to get cut off? Yeah. And these people don't. I don't think. I mean, I'm not going to say they never will work with them again, but it's going to be.
It's not going to be the first choice.
Yeah, they're going to like. Well, I mean. It's a lot of money, but am I going to be able to do what I want to do and tell my story?
Now, speaking of doing what you want to do, with this whole Ghost Rider stuff and Helstrom, which didn't really touch on Helstrom, but what random character to get into it. Is this pointing to Marvel and Hulu doing like a Midnight Suns cross Spirits of Vengeance?
If this was an April, I'd be like. Outlook is looking real good.
This was April.
Eight ball, like one of those.
Oh, April. I was like, we're in May now. Like,
I've never heard of that saying, man. What does that mean? I think you're gonna see a lot of brands come out of this merge. Like the Midnight Suns.
It makes sense.
But yeah, I mean. These are characters that people haven't seen in a long time, or haven't seen, period. And like people have been screaming for this for years now.
Yeah,
it's years.
It's like how many people have been wanting Blade? Like people have been asking for Blade non-stop since like. 20 years.
And you will be happy very with that.
Give it a minute. Give it a minute.
Yeah, with the Midnight Suns thing, I'm like 90% sure that's gonna happen.
Yeah, well,
like
if you can't get defenders back, you got something to fall back on, and it's
plus
something different to fall back on as well.
Exactly, and it's like out of all the characters, it's like, I shouldn't say that, but the two characters that are been announced now. I mean, one of them you've seen before, but everybody loved it. It was a great reception.
Yeah, I don't think anyone didn't like that Robbie Reyes take. Like, sure, it felt a bit more like Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, but like, it's.
I mean, it was better than any of the Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah, I don't even count those movies as being the thing. Like, mainly because I didn't watch the second one because the first one was that bad. But
well, as amazing as Nicolas Cage is, those movies were pretty like it just didn't capture the character at all. But this was like, I thought the Robbie Reyes character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of like encapsulated it, like as even
it got the Ghost Rider bit. Like, I would have liked a bit more of Robbie, like Gabe and all that, but
yeah,
did it have Gabe? I can't remember actually.
Yeah, I did. His brother, right?
Yeah,
he was in the show.
But yeah, if you can like go a bit more like the family dynamic, I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say much about it because I don't know too much about it right now. But like, I mean, what I do know is that if you liked the character before, you're gonna love the character now.
Sweet.
It's not gonna change all that much. The aesthetic might change a little bit, but the story might change a little bit. But I'm looking forward to the Helstrom one a little bit, especially from the synopsis of what the show is supposed to be about.
Oh, because aren't they like heavily teasing that, like, yes, like, he is the son of Satan, she is the daughter, like, she is Satana. Like, yes, they're calling her Anna, but I think there's a clear, obvious twist that they're gonna like pull with that one. But...
And as far as I know, they're gonna go like pretty much balls to the wall with it.
Sweet.
With
That's
the character.
Exactly what they need to do. Right.
Like if it's one thing they've learned with some like some of the other characters is like don't shy away from like the.
Oh yeah, especially like in a post-Endgame world, you can't shy away anymore. You have to go. Like, if it's in the comic, do it.
Yeah,
there's nothing to shy away from.
I think it just needs to. There's a happy medium of marrying the comics with which with a little bit different from like deviating from it, and I think Marvel's kind of mastered it at this point, and I mean, again, I don't know too much about the show now. It's just, I mean, I only know what you guys know, is the synopsis, and I'm interested in. I mean, again, I'm interested in what I see. Like, I know they're gonna get.
It feels like the direction they're going in, like, not obvious, but like you can see like what they've done before and like apply it to what they could possibly do here. So like, they're obviously not just gonna do Ghost Rider and Helstrom. Like, they're obviously gonna do other people as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if these things are successful, you're gonna see a lot more of these types of characters. Also, I mean, like, you also got to look at where they're putting the shows. Now, like, if they put that on D+, it might be a little watered down, but Hulu.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's any possible reality that they could actually put these on Disney+.
Nah, I mean, if they did, I think it would be a mistake because there's too much restriction on what you can do and what you can't do with the character, and like that would definitely hurt those types of characters because you want to go to those boundaries, you want to push the boundaries with these characters. I mean, like, you want to go as far as you can without, without showing like a I don't know, like a Hellraiser type version. But I mean, you could do something like that.
Yeah, you also you kind of don't want to like limit what type of content you make. Like, yes, Disney's known for being family friendly, but they're clearly obviously trying to spread out a little bit more. Yeah. Like, they had Miramax before and they did all stuff there, but like, there's a clear, like, them saying that they're not going to change Deadpool. Like, I think that they're trying to widen that cone of where they're aiming for.
Exactly, and I think that was the whole point of getting majority stake of Hulu. So they have that outlet for those shows. He's not stupid. Like Bob Iger loves the money, man.
Yeah.
And like this, you're not going to see a ghostwriter walking around Disney, but like Disneyland, but you're going to know that
it's a Disney property.
But they're not. Yeah, they're going to be a Disney property. He wants you to know that they're not going to like go, all right, well, we're going to give you the character, but we're going to give you a completely watered down version of that character.
Yeah.
That's not going to make money.
No.
Yeah. And
Iger he's a very smart man. It's going to be, it'll be interesting to see when he leaves, like who's going to take over and how they go. But
I think Feige is going to take that position.
You think Feige's all of Disney?
Personally, like that's just my personal opinion. I think at this point, he's earned that, and I think he has that sensibility that he can keep. I don't know, man. The guy's a very, very shrewd man, business wise, and I think that type of business mentality is what it takes to do stuff like this, because Iger isn't shying away from other properties. They're not going to say, well, we're going to give you this, but not give you that.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. I think he is right for that position. I
suppose the question is really like, would he want to?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think in the end, I think that's what everybody wants to do, is run one of the biggest studios in Hollywood.
That's true.
I think that's the.
Well, I suppose he's running the biggest one right now. Like, you can't. Like, yes, it's a subdivision of Disney, but like, is there anything much bigger than his subdivision?
Well, and he's handled the running of the Marvel, MCU, in such a great way that I think he is a right fit for that, and I think he earned it. Yeah. I mean, at least in my opinion, I think that's.
I mean, if it is Feige and Feige does take over, I'm not going to complain. No.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising that he's the successor. I mean, I couldn't see right now. I couldn't see anybody else.
So it's definitely hard to pick someone else out. Like, I can't.
Nobody in my view has when Iger leaves, it has to be someone that kind of keeps in line with that
same
vision.
mentality,
and that vision, because once Iger leaves and that person takes over, this could all go away. I mean, they might say, all right, this doesn't share my values, so I'm going to push my agenda. I think that if Iger was smart, he would at least offer this to him and try to keep this the money train rolling. I mean, he was instrumental in getting this MCU together and in the mergers and stuff like that. He was very instrumental in the Fox thing.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine he would have to be, really.
But I mean, that's one of the biggest acquisitions in the last decade.
Well, I think ever, really.
Yeah.
No,
I've never heard of, this has been the first thing I've ever heard of, two mega companies putting together. I mean,
so I can't really remember a time where any of the big six of something or whatever it's going to be buying out the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just, I mean, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I think that's where.
I could see it. I could see it. Just like I could, just to jump back onto the Midnight Suns bit.
Yeah.
Bringing people like Man-Thing. You have sure it's kind of copying DC with Swamp Thing, but that's not going to go anywhere, it seems.
No.
So,
I mean, that could go away in a season.
Yeah. I mean, they're evaluating the entire thing, so who knows? But it's just opened such a massive door, bringing Man-Thing and do the nexus to all reality sort of thing.
Yeah,
go crazy with it.
Exactly. I mean, and that could open the. I mean, that could bridge the gap between film and TV easily.
Let's get Cumberbatch.
I mean, at this point, I don't think you're gonna see. You're not gonna see Doctor Strange on these shows. But I mean, I think eventually you might see something. You never know. Wong could show up on that show.
Yeah, that's true. Or like just have one of them in a Doctor Strange movie. Like, it's not like,
and it would make sense too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those
like,
characters.
If someone's going to know everything, like it would be him.
Yeah.
You haven't really got to set up a prior meeting like you would maybe with like the Defenders and the Avengers, but it's Doctor Strange. He just knows all because
I mean, like in the comics, everybody goes to when it's stuff like that. They go to like when it's a supernatural, they go to Doctor Strange.
Exactly. And also, you just like the can of worms that opens up, like werewolves, vampires. Like you can do so much with like a spirits. I imagine they're going to call them the Spirits of Vengeance and not Midnight Sun because Sun's kind of,
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised for characters like Johnny Blaze to show up in it.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
bring in
Danny
like Elsa
Kench.
Bloodstone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like all these, like little C-level characters are pretty ripe for these shows. Like, and they all kind of fit. They all have that connection in some way.
Isn't there also talk of like a glyph? She's a recent character, like a glyph show.
Yeah, I mean, I might have. I don't know if I heard anything about that, but I mean, it's very possible. I mean, like I said, like the other day, it was just like consider anything and everything.
Yeah.
At this point, it's kind of like a free for all now because like once they have control of these, like once this thing gets off the ground, I mean, like they're gonna need to fill up content, fill up spaces.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna see characters that you.
I mean, we've already got so much now. It's like there's the Offenders. That's 5 shows. You've got the What Ifs. That's a show. You got what certain someone and Winter Soldier. You got WandaVision. You got the Loki show. You got there's
the Hawkeye,
Nick Fury, War Machine, Sif, and
I mean, like all these. All these opportunities start creating and that's just like most of those shows are just like the opening act on this app, like everything after that it's like, hey, who knows, like 3 years down the line when Doctor Strange is done, there could be a Doctor Strange show,
Oh, that's kind of like, all right, we can't really go any further than a Doctor Strange show.
I mean, like, who would have thought that Tom Hiddleston was going to be on a TV show.
That's true. That's very true.
And like who's thought? Because like, I think once they're done with their trilogy, I think these shows open up another avenue for the character. They don't necessarily have to go away completely. They can go to Hulu and just have a little bit of, I
mean, like, at least the ones we know of now that like the confirmed official ones, like Feige has said, these are setting them up for their next movie appearances. Like,
exactly,
we're filling in a gap. So I said it on the main show this week. Like, it's a way to like just spread everything out so you can do more. Like you haven't not got to see these characters for 3 years. You can have this show, and then the movies can do new stuff.
Yep,
and then you just bring them all together again. Like,
wasn't that what the Dark Tower stuff was supposed to do? It was supposed to like be a movie, then a show, then a movie. Yeah, just a little bit more successful version.
I think they're still doing the show for that, but I think it's rebooting everything. I'm not sure.
But like, and you also got to think that like Sebastian Stan, he's still got like I think 3 more films on his contract.
Didn't he have 9 originally?
Yeah, he had I think he was like one of the biggest.
So you had the 3 Caps. He's done Civil War as a 3rd Cap movie. 2 Avengers. I mean, he's got 4 if that's the case.
4, yeah.
Did the Black Panther thing count? The post-credit scene?
I don't think so. I think none of these post-credits. I think they're a completely different thing. From what I heard, Chris Evans did that one appearance as a favor, or either that, or it was like a negotiation for an extra. But it didn't count as his appearance. But I mean, yeah.
While we're actually going to be talking about the Disney Plus characters now, it's probably a good idea to get into our last topic, which is like how Endgame kind of sets up these shows and possibly what these shows could be about. So, like, obviously, spoilers again. I said at the top of the show, I said it a couple of times. If you haven't seen Endgame, like, leave and come back to this video. But,
pause.
You know, the biggest one, Sam's cap. No, he's Cap now. He's Captain America. That show's clearly getting a name change. There's no way they undermine that entire ending and pass off and still call him the Falcon. Like, even if it's story reasons and he's not Captain America at the start, you don't call the show Falcon.
I think it was all set up as. I think the reason why they put that title out was like they had to get it out and say, hey, this is coming, you know. But where they left off
it's
was
literally a longer take on the Captain America Serpent Society into Civil War. Like, that bit lasted a second. This bit lasted like 2 months.
2 months, yeah. I mean, it was like a placeholder for sure. You know, I can't really say too much about this one because I know a little bit more than I do about the other shows. But like, where they put Sam, I think in the show it's going to expand on that a lot more. There's other characters that are apparently going to be involved. I think US Agent was talked about. John Walker. I don't know if they're going to...
At like this point, like, you know, it's the Spider-Man's bringing Shield back. We kind of know that with Nick Fury being in there. Like, if with the whole passing of it, it opens up an avenue where it's like, just because he's passed it on doesn't mean other people are going to accept that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, like, that's obviously the entire theme of Nick Spencer's Captain Falcon run, because that's the easy way to call him. Like, you know, and US Agent was in that. The entire thing was like, you know, you're not my Captain America.
Exactly.
I think very relevant, very like probably the best way to take that character right now. I don't know what you do after that because there's only the one run of him, but
well, I mean, as far as I know, I don't think they're gonna take. He's not gonna be in the movies. It's just not gonna happen.
What, US Agent or Sam?
US Agent.
Oh
US
yeah,
Agent.
I would. Oh,
I mean, I don't want to say never.
I think there's an avenue you could do it. Like I said I think it was the spoiler cast or the main podcast, where it's like, you know, if they're doing Dark Avengers, you know, like the way they've left everything sets Dark Avengers up perfectly. I'll be surprised if that's not the direction that they're going. You know, but at the same time, you know, you could bring in US Agent for that, but then Rhodey is in the Iron Patriot armor, so you don't necessarily need a Captain America substitute in that. But it's, I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. So,
well, I mean, I think he's gonna. I mean, if he is in the show, he's not gonna start out as US Agent. He's starting out as John Walker.
Yeah, a bit like Crossbones did. You know, he was just not Frank Grillo. What was it, Rumlow?
Rumlow, yeah.
Yeah. No, you know, he was Rumlow in Winter Soldier, then he's Crossbones in Civil War. Like.
Yeah, and then Crossbones, and then back to Frank Rumlow.
Yeah, it's true.
But like, the biggest thing for me and the biggest appeal for me for this show is like just the dynamic between Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie. It's just like it all started in Civil War. Is that
dynamic going to change? Like, yes, in Endgame, Bucky looked quite content with Steve passing it to Sam, but is he actually going to be happy about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be. I mean, you got to look at like Bucky was Steve's friend way before Sam.
Yeah,
and he might have apprehension about it eventually. I mean, there's got to be some conflict.
You could easily interpret the ending of Endgame to be where he is a bit, you know, miffed about it. Like I think, to be honest, that might just be Sebastian Stan's face and how he acts. Like be like, you know, just take it, like, you know, it's his, no, it's yours, do it.
Oh, well, I think the relationship between Sam and Bucky kind of evolved to like a frenemy type. Type dynamic, and I think it's going to be more expanded in the show, and you're going to see. I'm sure you're going to see conflict between the two, but I think when it comes down to it, I think it's better for Anthony Mackie to have the shield.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the more relevant one. Like the way, you know, the way the Winter Soldier is, or Bucky is in the MCU, he doesn't need the shield. Like he's not the right person to have it. Like, it doesn't belong to him right now.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of moments of the homage to him having the shield without having to have him in the cap suit. And like it also kind of fills in the gap of like with Anthony Mackie taking the mantle, fills in a lot of gaps. Fills in the gap as being fresh and new. Fills in that minority gap. You know, it fills in a lot more than we got another white guy in the suit. You know, like As much as
they've said for a while, like, you know, there's going to be a lot more diversity. You know, what way to do that and have like one of your first biggest shows be about a black Captain America, like.
And like, why not? It's like I think I don't know. Maybe if I'm remembering it incorrectly, but wasn't the comic kind of successful in some way, like very popular? Or was it diverse? I mean, diverse.
I'm not. I know there was a lot of like, not controversy around it because it's a very small group of people complaining. But I think people loved that run. Like myself, I loved it. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it a lot more than Bucky's take on it, but that's just me. Like,
yeah, well, like Bucky's take was like a little bit different, though, right? It was more militaristic, or Sam was more of like.
As I say, Sam's was more about him and like the conflict if he should have the shield or not, and the other people around him not accepting him. Whereas like, I can't remember Bucky's one. I want to say Bucky's one was more like, I'm not Captain America, like I'm a different.
He was going against the grain type.
You know, like he ran around with a gun. Like, why Captain America needs a gun when he's got a metal arm and a shield like that? I don't know, but
that's definitely Bucky's character there too, right? Yeah. You know, like he's the Winter Soldier, so like he's primarily using a gun. But I mean, I think Mackie can do it. I think he's gonna be awesome.
I can't wait to see Mackie just like act this out.
Yeah, I mean he's a great actor. I mean, like I've seen him in there's a movie with Jennifer Connelly and Paul Bentley. Paul Bentley directed the movie.
Yeah.
What's it called? I forgot, but it was filmed in New York, and like it was about the homeless, like they were homeless and stuff like that. Yeah. And he was really great in that movie. And like, and there was a couple like humorous scenes in it, but for the most part, it was like a very dramatic. Like they were very self-loathing and stuff like that, you know. And it's like I can see Mackie putting a spin on the story, where he's still conflicted, but he has moments, and I think it's gonna have, and like it's been described to me like a million times as Lethal Weapon, buddy cop.
That's like the perfect pitch for that show.
and if Lethal Weapon had the moments of dramatic, you know, effect, and they still had that moments of humor too. So, you know, and I think that show is going to be very popular. I think, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a Captain America show. Like, it's not going to be like.
And like, for all intents and purposes, in this necessarily may never happen, but like Chris Evans, I mean, the character is not dead.
No, and they even set up in Endgame a way to like even de-age that character.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if they didn't de-age the character, they're still in where he could be brought in for some reason, you know. And like if Sam is conflicted, he could talk to him, whatever, you know. I
think that kind of has to happen with the show. I think you need at least an episode where it's Old Man Rogers and Sam talking about like how he's doing, like dealing with it. Whether it's the last episode or halfway through, either one, depending on how the play would work. But like, I think there needs to be that conversation.
Yeah, and I'm sure Chris Evans is up for it, man. Like he's not. It's not like he's staying around and being a predominant character in the show. It's just a one episode, and it gives him the opportunity to flex that acting muscle, you know, because it's not going to be an action scene.
You know, you're not doing the same thing all over again. Like, you know, he's old. Maybe his mindset's changed now. Like, you don't know.
Or, you know, like it's just, you know, like, I mean, if Sam is having doubts about being the character up to this point, everything's been going wrong, you know, and like, he has to be reassured by somebody, you know. It'd be nice to see old man Steve come in and say, you know what? I picked you for a reason. I gave you the shield for a reason. I know you know something.
It's like just like trust your instincts, sort of thing.
Yeah, You know, and like that's a one episode off, man. You know, that's not like you know, he doesn't have to come in for a season. Like he goes in for a day, prosthetics, wham, you know, a couple hours of things. Who knows? Maybe he will direct that episode. The directors have not been picked.
I think that's the one he has to like. If he's going to direct at least one, it has to be that one.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And like, you know, and I know for a fact he's not opposed to coming back. You know, and like maybe he went in for like you say, hey, I'll come in for a couple episodes or a episode as long as I can.
Say like what I want them to do. Like this is I know Chris Evans probably didn't want to do it. You know, make Old Man Rogers like the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
have him be the Robert Redford character.
I mean, didn't they do that in like the comics too? Right?
Around the time. It was just before the arc where Sam took over. He was Old Man Rogers because they took a super soldier serum away. So you know, just put him in that old Shield uniform, like the blue one with the like silver stripes.
Yeah.
And just have him be director. Like he hasn't got to do a lot. You can maybe have like an action scene and show that you know he's still Captain. He can still do this.
But I mean, as much as I would love that, I don't know if that like.
No, it's purely a pipe dream.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, it's something you can do. You know, just like if Evans does get the itch and he doesn't really want out, or he gets cold feet about leaving properly, you know, that door's still there. And you haven't got to see the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. constantly. You know, you can just have him do voiceover stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and like, that's why I'm kind of glad that he didn't die. I always knew, even before I seen it, I knew Tony was gonna do that. I knew it.
Yeah, I was in denial for the longest time. I did not want to see Tony leave.
I think it's just purely because I just can't like keep paying this guy for like he makes so much money in these movies, you know, and like I mean, not to say that he won't come back as a hologram or something or one day, but
at
like
this point, I don't want him back at all. Do not take that moment away from that character.
Yeah, I think that would be cheap if that was.
I mean, sure, like if 20 years and you're playing off the Morgan Stark bit, and you know, use the hologram and have him back that way.
Yeah,
you know,
just don't bring him back too soon.
Yeah, like make it so he hasn't like he recorded more than one like sort of thing message for us. So I think that's the only way I'd want that character back. Like
I don't think I'd want that. Yeah, I don't think I would want him back full time or any capacity of being alive. I think that would just kind of like it'd be it's like it was like the Coulson thing but on a bigger scale, you know, for me.
Yeah
You know, like it at that point you're just like, yeah, why did I cry anyways, because that guy's in he manipulated me.
Yeah, but at least with Coulson you can get around a bit more, like the whole Shield bit, like LMDs and all that. Like they had a decent reason for it, but
I mean when he first came back everybody was like but if they come back and say Tony's back, or I'd just be like, it would just be kind of like, oh man, that whole scene means absolutely nothing now because he's
especially
back.
for a movie that was so like dependent on keeping the stakes around.
Yeah,
taking that away would feel a bit weird. But I was trying to get stakes. Actually, no. Yeah, speaking of stakes, you know, we've lost Vision. No, I might cut that little flood bit out there, but.
Yeah.
Spoiler again. Haven't seen Endgame. Vision isn't around. We have no Vision, but we have a show where Vision's going to be in it, and the movie doesn't really set it up, which I think is interesting. It kind of
does.
So you get a look at where Scarlet Witch is mentally.
Yeah, I think that's where you're going to get it. But I think you also got to remember, like, the character is a robot when he gets down to it.
Yeah,
like it can be brought back.
It's not a robot.
Synthezoid.
Let's not be robotists.
I feel like a racist. You know, the Vision to me, I thought the more important scenes were with like how Scarlet Witch is dealing with it, because she's the physical human being, and but like the Vision, I feel is just, I don't know, like. He can be brought back at any point, at any time.
Yeah.
But when he does come back, is he the same person, or is he the same? It's sort of like the Groot thing, where the Team Groot is not the Groot from the first movie,
Yeah.
I feel like the Vision thing is the same thing. Is like when he comes back, is he going to be the same person or same thing?
Yeah.
You know, and like
I imagine he's not. You know, he hasn't got the Mind Stone, so he can't. You know, they say in Infinity War, he's a combination of everything working together. So if you take one aspect out, like yes, you're gonna have a whole lot of Vision left, but you're not gonna have Vision left.
And that was a setup, by the way. that was the setup.
Oh yeah.
And like you can't see me physically, but I'm winking,
just wink
and nodding. Like when you see the character next, it's gonna be a different Vision. It's gonna be.
I assume they're still aiming for the white Vision, because if you they've already, we had the grey Vision in Infinity War. And what a way to show that he's not the same Vision and have a completely different color change.
The aesthetic version, yeah. I mean, as far as I know, trying to figure that's a logistical problem we're figuring out.
Here's a freebie: just spray paint the existing prosthetics you have.
Yeah,
done.
I mean, done.
There you go.
Well, I think that this TV show is going to be very interesting.
It's definitely it's like taking Tom King's Vision run and what I assume is going to be a kind of House of M element take, because from what I've heard, not necessarily you, but someone else, if she's, which we've talked about it anyway, if she's making this whole thing herself, because she has said it's in the 50s, we know that the only logical way to get there is for her to do like a House of M situation. Because they can't time travel. The pin particles are gone.
Gone.
Well, they're not gone, but
for all intents and purposes. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's not easy to get.
Yeah. Because why would Pym make more pin particles for that amount anyway?
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's the TV show will have something to say about a very, very important social issue.
Yeah.
And especially, it's not just America, but it's like everywhere. There's a big problem with mental health. So
it's going to be like, if there's only really one thing you could do with Scarlet Witch, and that is like a mental health sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to focus on anything for that character, it has to be that.
Yeah, it's the natural progression of like the character. And this could be a good way of bringing back Aaron Terry Thomas in some capacity. I mean, like,
oh please, I need
but I mean, like, there's the possibilities are kind of endless with the show.
So especially with, we every time we've seen her powers are different.
Yeah.
Like, when we first saw her, the red wasn't really that bright, and then the next time we saw her, it was a bit brighter, and she could do more things, and she could control an Infinity Stone, and you see her again, and she's destroying stones and holding off 5 with Thanos behind her, and now she's like single-handedly nearly killing Thanos. Like,
yeah, I always look at it like each time you see her, it's like a discovery of a different, or like she's like discovering a new aspect of like whatever. And
it's always tied to her emotional state. Yep. Which is the biggest thing for her.
I think that's gonna be the central theme of this show.
Yeah, I think as a Scarlet Witch fan for like forever. Thank God. Like the minute you hear that, it's like they're doing it right. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I can't really say that's for sure. But I mean, no,
it's still like
but the idea,
it's got to be an element they have to use, like her mental state and everything.
I mean, it's. Let's put it this way: if we can't put it in the show, then it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Because like if someone's, it's like I always thought it was like what Legion did. What
it's like if
cleaner.
You've got to compare it to anything, like Legion's probably the best way.
Because I think that was the only show that like dealt with like mental issues, but like I think it'll be more cleaner.
And obviously not the same tone, because that was a very different. Subject matter for a Scarlet Witch show is going to have Vision, and like a 50s setting is going to be something very different there.
And I think it's going to give those actors and actresses like their the ability to do what they weren't doing in the movies as much, because there was some screen time with Scarlet Witch, but you can't really say that she flexed her acting muscles.
Oh no! And if you've seen the Old Boy remakes, she can act.
Yeah. There's another movie called Martha May Marlene. I can't remember if that's the correct one, but it's a really good movie. It's like one of her first movies, and it dealt with a lot of similar type of themes, like with mental health and stuff like that. So you guys should check it out.
She does a lot of that. Because there was that movie she did with who's the girl that was in Legion?
What's her face? Audrey Plaza?
Yeah, Audrey Plaza. There was a movie that she did with her, and it was all about like social media and everything.
Yeah,
like Audrey Plaza's the stalker character, and she's stalking the other.
Yeah.
Like that movie, she didn't really like act that much. It was very much like I'm playing Lizzie Olsen. I'm like a caddy girl.
Yeah.
But you know, it's still very like the mental state of people, like mental health and what everything does.
I would urge you guys to check out that movie. God, I'm looking it up right now. But it gives you for me, it gives you an opportunity to see like her acting skills, and her to it's going to give you an idea of what the shows might be about.
Yeah.
So
also give us the kids, like.
Yeah, you know,
give me the kids. We need the kids. God damn it.
Hear that?
Plus, you know, what an interesting way. You know, you can have like the kids are in this 50s setting that she's made in some way or another, and then they somehow end up in actual reality, and then they have to deal with this fact that then are they real people? Are they not? Yes, chat. Ingrid Goes West was the name of that movie, Audrey Plaza. Thank you.
And the other movie I was talking about is Martha Macy May Marlene. I can never get that one.
That's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
Martha Macy May Marlene.
Yeah, it's like one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it just like you could just see like what like it I don't know, it has a lot to do with mental health. Like she was a part of a cult and she got taken out of the cult, so like she's like basically got this like PTSD type thing.
Yeah,
it's really crazy, and I think it gives her that like opportunity to show her acting skills and a lot of that too.
Definitely, which hopefully she can pull that off. I got every faith she can.
I think
especially when you've got like Paul Bettany, and if Paul Bettany's being able to like take this character in a different direction, because I assume they will.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like the vision that you saw in those other movies isn't going to be the vision that's going to be in the show. Like,
you know, it's a very common thread between a lot of the stuff Marvel are doing at the minute. So here's a character it's slightly different. Like, you know, spoilers for horror.
Yeah, that's another one I was really interested in. Like they did with. I definitely want to see what they do with that her.
And once again, I called that. I called it. They're going to play Battle Gamora. No prior knowledge to that. That's pure speculation.
You're psychic, man. I know.
I wish I was. No, make a fortune off that. Like, hey, they're doing this. Hey, they're doing this.
You could charge a lot of the fanboys.
But no, it's a very interesting thread, and I hope they do the same with the Black Widow movie. But I don't want it to get a bit repetitive. But
yeah, well, I mean, I think the Black Widow movie is going to be like. It's going to be way different than like what people. I think people.
Because I can't see them just doing a straight prequel.
No, it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of elements in that movie.
Yeah. It's like, you know, just like play off what with Hulk trying to bring it back. Play off.
Yeah.
Use that to it. Make it like completely different to what everyone would have thought.
Yeah. Play off the expectations of your things.
Yeah, like maybe he brought her back, but it's in the past. Well, to be fair, she would be in the past anyway, but I don't know. You know, what does she do when she knows what's going to happen? What does she change?
Didn't they do that with when she got killed in the Secret Wars, and like when she got brought back, she was like.
Yes, or Secret Empire. Recently.
Secret Empire, that's right.
They had Cap kill her, and then it was a very unceremonious. Like he just stabs her in the neck with a shield.
Yeah,
and that's it. She's gone, and then next minute she's back, and you don't know why. And you don't. How is she back? We have to have Hawkeye and Bucky go find her and find out why she's back. I didn't actually read that run, so I have no idea what happens beyond that point. But no,
that's the gist of
it. Yeah, take the run. Why not? You're taking everything else from the last 5 years. So
I mean, you like the thing with these like the movies, like they take a little bit of everything out, like cherry pick a lot of that stuff. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. you know,
I mean,
I
yeah,
would
like that's evident with like the one. Like, can we have the different name for WandaVision? Like, I understand if it's going to be like TV, like a 50s
yeah,
sitcom setting. Like, I understand that, but can we just change the name? It
yeah,
sounds
or at
it's
least
not.
at least put a slash through it.
Yeah, or just call it Vision and the Scarlet Witch. Like,
Yeah,
just stick with that. It's
I don't come up with the names. So.
just slip the notes on there, like name change.
I'll email Jeff Phillips.
But
But the one that's really the biggest blank slate right now for me, well, even for me, it's the Loki one, man. That one's like a complete blank slate.
Yeah, because I suppose rightfully so. Everyone's like, "Oh, Loki got away in Endgame in Avengers 2012. It's clearly going to be the Disney Plus show." I mean, fair enough. I understand how you got there, but
that's
like, can it be that they literally say in the movie that the branch ends if you put the stone back? So,
well, I think that's. I mean, when someone like sees that, it's like, and you know that the show's coming. That's a very. It's not a minor jump conclusion that they think that's what's happening, but I mean,
it's the easiest place to go to. Loki's dead in Infinity War. You see Loki get away in the next movie. Of course, you're going to jump to that conclusion. Right?
Well, it's like kind of the lowest common denominator if they did something like that.
Yeah, it's
like
easy.
Just,
like it's low hanging fruit, like easy picking. But to me, that sets more the what ifs up.
Yeah,
that's my conclusion from that, and it's like that's the more obvious one, but that's just how my brain works.
Well, I think the best thing about the what ifs TV shows is like not only do they be able to take the famous what ifs and make them into cartoons, but they can also have the opportunity to say kind of continue some of the movie stuff in a what if format.
Yeah,
I don't mean like what if Captain America didn't or what if Tony didn't die in like one of those cartoons? I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do that, but I think
because I think just take the moment. The first episode is going to be what if Peggy Carter was Captain America, and what if Steve Rogers was Iron Man? Essentially, what if Loki did get away at the end of Avengers? What if Ultron won?
Well, yeah, like there's like a lot of possibilities. I think they're gonna definitely mix in a lot of the comic stories.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I think the show kind of lends itself to be just anything.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, it's literally like what if what if your imagination is endless? Do what you want.
Yeah.
But like the what if Peggy Carter was Captain America is literally from a recent comic.
Exactly.
Like, that was just fan art that took off. So they're clearly taken from the comics and doing that. But it's kind of one of those shows that like doesn't never ever have to end.
No.
Like, as long as you're making content, you can make a what if.
Well, even as long as it's good.
Yeah, I mean, that is like the biggest factor. Yeah.
But yeah, like it's pretty bottomless in terms of like stories. I mean, you can deviate from all the comics and just start making your own what ifs. What if Stan Lee didn't die? I mean, I'm sorry, was it too early?
It'll always be too early. No.
But I'm definitely looking forward to the Howard and Duck show too. I don't know.
As long as we have a flashback in that show where he's fighting in the Endgame battle, like
that'd be awesome. What if Howard was a part of Endgame?
I mean, he was.
It's true.
He was right there. There's no need for what if. What if he wasn't? Is a bigger question.
What if he wasn't?
They'd all lose clearly.
Sitting in a bar or somewhere.
But I'm trying to think, and like obviously, like the last one that we officially know of is the Hawkeye. He's not going to be training his daughter because that was Wanda Russo's kids, so you don't expect her to come back ever.
Yeah, she might appear in the show, but she's not the main character. For sure.
Yeah,
it's I'm definitely looking forward to that one too. Cause
same. I think that was also the obvious point to what they're doing with these shows. It's like if you're going to do a Hawkeye show, you can only really do Kate Bishop, which
exactly.
We know it is Kate Bishop. It's just who. And
my only hope is they have Pizza Dog. I mean,
I bet they do. I bet they have Pizza Dog.
Pizza Dog. I'm in. I'll work on the show.
Yeah. Especially, it's interesting because the whole the way Endgame starts, and it's his family getting dusted, and then that sets up him becoming Ronin, and he does all this stuff in Japan, all over the world. Like, what if his family doesn't want him back after that? What if they can't accept that the husband and the dad took this turn, and that's how he ends up in the place for Kate Bishop, and then Kate Bishop's redemption for letting Nat die. Not letting Nat die, obviously, like Nat
allowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be that definitely would be more very interesting, because like, even at the end of Endgame, I mean, at that point, he's still got those PTSD type feelings, man. And like,
when they don't go away easy, like.
Yeah, and once his kids come back, the family doesn't know what happened.
No.
So
how do you go back? Like, can you go back to that afterwards? Like, I imagine that's going to be a very big question for like everything Marvel does. Like, how can everyone go back now that everything's quote fixed? Like, is the problem bigger now than it was first? Like, what's going on? Like,
well, I was talking to someone about that show specifically, and he was like saying, he's like, because I was in the Army for 6 years, and like you go over there, you see a lot of things. You come back, you're a different person.
Yeah.
He said that's basically what it is. It's like you sort of have. It's like it's kind of weird. This, like, I don't want to keep harping on the PTSD thing, but it's like it is a relevant factor in.
Oh yeah. But that's what makes like Marvel characters interesting. Well, at least for me, they are susceptible to like real world things.
Exactly.
Like, their mental state in there, like where their brains are part of why they've stood the test of time.
Yeah, and like and it showed in the Endgame a lot. It kind of paid off because like even like it showed that even gods could get this depression and these feelings and like it's not he's like Thor wasn't immune to those types of problems and like that's why I love the movie so much, is like it's just like because like the DC characters, like I like them, I rag on it a lot, but like I love the characters, but like if you watch the movies or read the comics, it's just like everything's kind of clean and like they don't.
And it's like if you look at Heroes in Crisis is probably like one of the first times they've dealt with like what if these people had like mental problems and they need just like sorting out. But...
And it's like a fair question too, because like you're doing a lot of these things, you see a lot of stuff, you're gonna experience these types of feelings, and like what is the after effect of this? But I don't think Heroes in Crisis dealt with it very good.
No, and I don't put that down to Tom King at all. I put that firmly on what's his face? I can't remember his name. Is it Didio?
Didio, yeah.
I firmly on him, because that story should have been completely different. But,
well, like I mean, Tom King's great, and like
just look at Vision and Mr. Miracle, like fantastic runs, but.
Like goes over DC and kind of
that poor Tom King. But, no, the Hawkeye one's going to be very interesting, and like just maybe we also get stature. You can't have Kate Bishop without Cassie Lang.
Yeah, I mean, I think all these shows are. I mean, it's going to set up something else. I mean, like it's inevitable that the Young Avengers is going to happen. Cassie, them moving time up.
I say they've jumped time for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, they set it up in the past movies to have these characters. So once Endgame happened, they had the opportunity to flash forward 5 years to like have them to a point where they could do this. And
it's like my thing actually is like, where's everything gonna take place? Like where's Hawkeye going? Like I assume that the MCU and everything isn't going to move really forward for the next 5 years, because they like to run concurrently, unless that's going to be out the window now. So
I mean,
is Hawkeye going to be like? I assume it's got to be in 2023.
Yeah,
whenever it happens.
I think these shows are going to be concurrent. I think they're going to be like in the now more than in the future, if that makes any sense. I couldn't come up with a better word.
I was going to say, like, could they actually do it? So like, she can't really do like WandaVision in 2019.
No,
because like she hasn't been put in that place yet in the movies. No. So
well, I think Well, I think they might jump forward with the Wanda, because like the WandaVision one is not really going to be. There's like not many other characters involved except for the one. Those, like the Wanda and Vision.
Maybe another one.
Well, yeah, and maybe another one, but like for the most part, you're not going to see Thor or any of the types of characters in that show. Yeah. So you had that opportunity to push it a little bit further in time to say at the beginning of the episode of episode 1, she's already in a worse state than she was at the end of Endgame. So I mean, by the time they film that, I think it should be. I don't know. I think it's like 2 years.
Yeah, like Lizzie Olsen said they're going to start shooting this year. I think like August, September time. So and on the Disney website they said like WandaVision is going to be 2020 or year 2, whatever that's going however they're counting their years. I don't know. So it's obviously going to be a little ways off, I imagine. But
so I mean, and a lot can happen in 2 years. I mean, you can mentally deteriorate in less than 2 years. So I mean,
easily.
Like we might not see the progression of her mental state, but we might pick up where she is at that time, and that could be. I mean, 2 years is like it could be devastating. I mean, she could be sitting in a mental hospital. Who knows? I
imagine she will be.
Yeah, and like there's a lot. I mean, like I don't think it's going to be a huge jump. It's just we're just not going to see the 2 years from Endgame to then.
Because the Falcon and Winter Soldier one has to be post Endgame.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
That has to be set in 2023.
I believe that's going to be like a year after Endgame.
Wow, they're going a full year.
I think
so
it's
that's
going to
jump into 2024.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quote me on that, but like I mean, from what I heard,
like it would make sense. Like I think like either straight after Endgame or like a year afterwards would make sense either way. Like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it's going to be too much time in between Endgame with the Falcon and well, whatever, the Winter Soldier.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Never call that show anything else, but.
And like with the Hawkeye one, I would place that maybe around the same time as.
Which would make sense, like he has to have time to like be put in a new status quo and at least find Kate Bishop, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, like, who's to say at the beginning of the first episode, it's not a year into whatever, his family has left, or he's estranged from his family. He's in wherever he's going to be. And like, he's already kind of in a bad place still. And like, he discovers, Kate Bishop, I think the story is going to pick up. I think you're going to see the beginning of Kate Bishop for sure. For sure. Yeah. I think the first episode you're going to see her.
See, I'd imagine you start the show off with her.
Yeah.
And then you have her meet Clint. No.
Maybe it's her that focuses on her, and he's a peripheral character.
Yeah.
Until episode 2.
Yeah.
He's sitting in.
Find that the slightest, to be honest.
No. Like he's. I mean. There's some. I think there's a lot of possibility, with that. I don't know. I'm very interested. I bet Jeremy Renner would just be loving it. So he doesn't have to put on that weird outfit. He just put on a t-shirt and jeans, and like, as long as it's got that purple,
just had the little purple chevron on it.
Probably like one of the less wardrobe fittings ever.
The longest bit is just putting like the plasters on his face.
Exactly.
Like, you can't have Fractions Hawkeye without the plasters on his face.
And
he's always got it beaten up.
For God's sakes, get rid of the faux hawk.
It works for Endgame. It works with that where he is in the position he is and everything. But like,
well, I think the haircut kind of just it tells you a lot about where he is in his life right at that point.
Oh yeah, and the same with like the full like Japanese sleeve on his arm. Like,
I love that, man. I love the look
it feels very Affleck to me, like the Phoenix back tattoo. It feels very much like that. Like he's gone through a crisis. Like fair enough. Like,
oh, it definitely is on the nose too, because like if you my wife seen the tattoo and she's like, that's the Samurai Ronin. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
What's
because
the character called again?
I figured it was like their little wink to Ronin.
It was a wink, and nod to say, hey, he's Ronin, he's different. But I mean, it could have been much, much worse.
Oh, it could have been far worse. At least you didn't it was only in that one shot. It wasn't like any other scene.
Thankfully, he didn't have frosted tips.
Oh God, I wouldn't have put it past him. It's Hawkeye. I wouldn't have put it past him.
I'm gonna be emo now.
So at least didn't have a massive fringe. Like that would have been something.
Nothing says emo like frosted tips, man.
No.
Like that's so. But I think they. I mean, the aesthetics was great. I mean, like I love the look of the character. People had
that suit was fantastic. Like I wish we saw more of the Ronin suit itself, but it's
well, people had like a lot of issues with it, and I'm like, I mean, look, it is the closest thing you're gonna get to his costume.
But the only issue I had with like that suit was the eyes and the mask. You never saw the eyes anyway, so like I couldn't even really complain at the end of it. So,
but like people were talking like the hood didn't work. I was like, I mean, look, it's a small thing. It really was.
I liked the look. I thought the hood worked fine. No.
I thought it looked great. I mean, I guarantee you this year at San Diego Comic-Con, there's gonna be like 50 of those things running around.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's
and
the new
look
Harley
far
Quinn.
Worse.
Yeah, it's the new Harley Quinn for sure.
God. I mean, at least it's an upgrading character, I suppose.
Let me ask you this: do you think Armin's gonna have a running costume made?
I wouldn't be surprised. Awesome. I could see him getting a Ronin.
Like at least his costume looked pretty decent, really cool. But like some of the ones I've seen, oh god,
you can get some
pajamas don't count as outfit.
Unless the outfit is pajamas.
Yeah,
fair enough. Now that we've come to pajama talk, I think this is no better place to wrap this show up. So thank you everyone for listening, and we'll catch you all next time. So, bye.
Later.
All right, and